it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and today I want to show you a simple warm-up exercise that doesn't actually involve playing guitar, but simply uses the strings as a guide for moving your fingers and developing the muscles. This isn't about stretching, it's about control. You need muscle control so that your fingers can go where you want them to go. Stretching does nothing for your tendons. They're not muscles. They're not going to stretch and suddenly everything is easy. In fact, when I was having wrist problems a few years back, I went to a physio and I showed them the stretches that one of my college professors showed me. This stuff where you stretch out your hand like that and like that. And their face dropped. They told me to stop doing those and explained that forcing your tendons to stretch like that is a bad idea. And regardless of all that, today I want to teach you a simple warm-up that'll get your hands moving and build a ton of dexterity so that you can reach all the notes in your chord shapes and your melodies, and you'll feel in control of everything. Now, before we get started, if you haven't downloaded my free ebook, there's a link down below for that. It covers all the fundamentals of rhythm guitar and it's completely free, so please check that out. Anyways, we're going to start by finding a position that feels the most comfortable or neutral. It's going to be probably on the G string or the D string with our index, around the 5th or 6th fret. For this lesson, I'm going to be on the G string, the 3rd string, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once you learn this, you can move the position to wherever is best for you. Now, we're not pressing the strings, we're just touching them. That's it. And we're going to start by moving our index over by one string to the B string. And then I'm going to press it down. I'm not going to press hard, I'm just going to press it down normally. And I'm trying really hard to only press that fret. The key is to make sure that your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers, they're just touching the string. So this is where the control comes from. You're controlling just that one finger and leaving the rest neutral. Now we're going to move it back, and we're going to do that 5 times in a row. So we press the string, and then we go back to the G string. Press it, go back. Press it, go back. And before we move on, I want you to feel your fingers. Do they feel stiff or cold? I know when I'm performing, like if I'm at a club or whatever, and there's air conditioning, my hands get cold, and that really does affect my playing. So I'll put them under my arms, go to the bathroom, put them under the hot blow dryer or whatever it takes. Getting the blood flow is important. So make sure that your fingers aren't cold right now. Do what it takes. Next, we're going to do the same thing, but with our middle finger. So we're placing our fingers again, and now we're going to move our middle finger down to the B string, just underneath, and we're going to press it down, trying really hard to not press with those fingers. And it's going to be really weird at first. It took me like a couple months before I could do this exercise no problem, but it definitely helped me develop control. And I just do that 5 times, just moving it over and just pressing, move it back, and just press. Move it back. Now we're going to skip our ring finger and go directly to our pinky. So we're going to do our pinky finger 5 times. 1, back. 2, back. Just taking our time. 3, back. 4, go back. And then 5. Now we're going to go back to our ring finger. This is the toughest one, which is why I saved it for last. I want to make sure our other fingers are all warmed up first, because it's going to be tricky to keep them lightly touching the string and not pressing along with our 3rd finger for whatever reason, just the way our tendons work out. Anyways, we're going to try that. We're just going to press with our ring finger. 1, 2, and back. 3, and back. And if you're feeling it, if it feels weird, stop, or find another position. Maybe it feels better over here. Or up here, maybe it feels better up here. Don't overpress. That's probably going to be, that's the biggest issue when people have hand pain, is that, because they're not comfortable with the chord shapes or anything yet, they press them really hard, which first of all, puts them out of tune, but secondly, it messes with your hand. So please be gentle when you're doing this. It's all about gradually getting there. We want to have a nice simple way to warm up, to develop control in our fingers without hurting ourselves. So take a break if anything feels weird. So just a quick recap. We have our fingers along the string, lightly touching, and then we take our first finger and we just move it over 5 times. Then we do that with our middle finger, then our pinky, and finally our ring finger. And then we're going to go do the same thing, but we're going to move our fingers the other way. So I'm going to move my index finger to the D string instead. And I'm going to do that now. And I do it the same way. You know, take your time. Don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. And you do that with each of your fingers. And if you want help pacing yourself, you can use a metronome. You know, you can set it to 60 beats per minute. You know, and that's the same as 1 second per click. And we'll give ourselves 2 clicks or 2 seconds to move it over, and then 2 clicks to move it back. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Press, and then move it back. And I would do that with each finger 5 times down, 5 times up. And then we can take this exercise even further by moving our fingers further. So instead of going over just 1 string, we can go over 2 strings. So if our fingers are on the G string, we can move them to the high E string. You know, and then we move it back. You know, and then we would do the same thing, moving them to the A string. You know, keeping these 3 fingers lightly touching, and then this finger is pressing. But we're not in a rush to get there. You know, we want to do this the simplest way and master it, and then move on. And that's how you get better with pretty much any aspect of guitar. So a quick recap of this whole thing. We start with our fingers on one of the middle strings, either G or D. Go wherever it feels comfortable for you, up and down the neck. And our fingers are hovering above the string without pressing anything down. And then we go 1 finger at a time, moving it over 1 string below 5 times, and then 1 string above 5 times. You know, and we can do all that using a metronome, 2 clicks per movement, 3 clicks per movement, whatever feels comfortable for you. And once you're good at that, you can increase the distance and move over 2 strings at a time. Now, if you want extra help with this, I have a worksheet with all of this outlined. It's very simple. I also have my completely free ebook with all the fundamentals of rhythm guitar. And if you'd like a guided tour through all the basics, I have my complete beginner's course, which takes you from being an absolute beginner to a confident strummer on guitar, knowing all the basic chord shapes, all of the strumming patterns that you need. You put that stuff together, you can play tons and tons of songs. So please check that out. Please, if you have any questions, ask in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.